cut a promo after the match
Yeah.
about there's no one left, and then have Brock come out and pop 10, 12,000 people.
That's good. That's a good idea. I feel it now. I feel it.
In your bones?
I would poop my pants.
I want to start off on a positive note because we just had a great weekend of wrestling. We had Bash of Berlin, which feels like a lifetime ago.
For some reason.
We're recording this on a Thursday after, and then we had No Mercy Sunday night. And
I think it's because so many things have happened since.
Raw and NXT, and they're all out's coming. It's just like, oh my God, where are we in this? But I wanted to start on a positive as best I can. So I think the biggest positive for me was last night on Dynamite when Adam Page said,
"Wait, how is this a positive?"
When Adam Page committed arson on live television, I was like, sweet, this is a great day for wrestling. No, it's a positive in that it's a very, this feud's been going on between them for so long. It was just cool. It just keeps heightening.
Right.
And you watched it. I made you watch it because you refused to watch Dynamite.
Yeah.
And he's like, I hate AEW. What did you think of it?
I have no negative opinion.
All right, I'm going to stop you right there. It took way too long. You collect your thoughts. I'll do the intro. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mean to Me podcast. I'm Chris Robinson. This is my beautiful wife.
Toni Robinson. Oh, beautiful.
Toni Robinson. Finish your name at least. Anyway, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Leave a comment. We're going to talk a lot of stuff during the show. We'd love to read the comments. And if you're listening, you can also listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So, what you said it wasn't negative? You had nothing negative to say?
Yeah, I have no notes. Well executed.
Was it riveting?
The drama build up was great. I think, even though, you kind of knew what he was doing, he's at the house, and
you knew come on.
Well, no, I meant when he walked into the house and I heard a chug of a jug.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, what's he carrying around? And then he started you can hear it. I was like, I think that's gasoline. And then you finally see it kind of come into. It was actually very well done cinematically, where you saw the build up and then you saw pieces, little bits of the gasoline, and then he sits out front. I don't know how he filmed that, but that was probably the best audio I've ever seen for AEW, as far as zero fuck ups in terms of production.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was pre-produced. I don't think that was really live. I mean, it might have been.
Was it live?
Huh?
It wasn't live.
Well, the show was live. I don't know if that segment didn't have to be live because he wasn't having a back and forth with Swerve. Something like that with fire and the control. They had to control that. That has to be perfectly mapped out. You're right. It was very cinematic.
It was, but the whole thing was good. Okay, it takes a little bit away that I thought it was live, but it was all well done. I think Hangman has. My one thing is that I haven't really followed this story as much as you have.
Right.
I know they've been beefing.
I've talked about it a lot on this show.
Yeah, and I know they've gone to each other's houses before, right?
Yeah.
So I get that it's gotten kind of dark.
Yeah.
But I think they did it. I think Hangman does a good job of really selling I fucking hate you. And it was and then once the whole thing went up in flames, I was like, that's pretty cool.
She's complimenting AEW in real time. Mark this down as a day in history.
I'm complimenting
September 5th.
Hangman and Swerve.
Who do they work for? They don't just work for wrestling.
I'm complimenting their ability to sell this, even with Swerve in the ring, to
tell a story.
Yeah, to see him as he's putting the pieces together. Why are you there? Why are you in my home? Why are you there? And then when he finally kind of gets it, you see it in real time. A switch goes off. Oh shit, he's gonna burn down my house.
And Nana too was reacting. His reactions were great. That's the thing. That's the mastery to me. Is that for Swerve and Nana, who know what's coming, let's be real, to have to really treat it as if, holy shit, he's really burning down my childhood home. Earlier in the day on social media, they were playing this up. They were like, oh, Swerve just signed his new contract. He got this big upfront bonus from Tony Khan. As soon as I saw that, I was like, if this is on the show tonight, if this isn't just some social media feel-good piece, I was like, that's done. Hangman said. And other people said, I'm not saying I predicted it. But I'm just it's wrestling. I knew it was coming. I was like, he's burning down that house.
Or doing something to it. That house is his focal point.
Because, yeah. Or he rented a wrecking ball or something. And
that would have been cool too.
Yeah, that house is getting demolished somehow.
Or he imploded it with Dynamite. All those things would have been great.
Yeah, Dynamite a little cartoonish, but you're a big Looney Tunes kid. So.
I do love Looney Tunes. Just get some TNT with big TNT letters on it.
The one thing, the icing on the cake, which they didn't show, and I wish they had, was Hangman ripping up Swerve's homeowners insurance. Just, gotcha.
Did he really do that?
No, I said he didn't. I was kidding. Oh. I said he didn't show that.
I'm really mad about homeowners insurance. Don't get me started.
I was trying to bring our lives into the story. But I tweeted at Swerve. I was like, oh, man, I hope you had homeowners insurance.
I mean, but it was really well done. I think I've never actually seen them execute a promo before. I think I've walked in the room while they were doing it and then I left. But I've never watched it. So I'm very impressed with Hangman's aura, if you will. That word's getting thrown around a lot, but he really I think it's enough. You can't just because a lot of the storylines are gonna be centered around I hate you, right? There's a Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, I hate you. There's Seth Rollins and CM Punk, I hate you. A lot of people just hate CM Punk, which
we'll get to.
Yeah, and then even with the betrayal storyline with Judgment Day and Rhea and all them, there's you have to sell this kind of I have this hate for you now, right? And you got to keep it fresh, though. You got to it's gonna be a rehash, reuse storyline because it's just a simple way to start feuds and pick fights. But this was elevated.
It was heightened, and that's the thing.
Elevated.
I mean, elevated, like Will Ospreay's theme song. Yeah. You want to break into that song? And that's the thing. And I feel like Hangman leaving after that triple threat match and going away, and then Swerve won the title and had his run, and Hangman didn't really come back till the tail end of Swerve's run as champion. And I think they half mentioned it, but he left because his second child was born. He had another kid.
Right.
And I think at one point he said he had to move too because Swerve invaded his home when he wasn't home, and it was his son's room, for people who've seen it or haven't seen it. And that's what I wanted to compare it to. Is because immediately the comparison started coming out, because the one thing that the Punk and Drew McIntyre storyline has starting to get getting killed for, a little negative reaction, is the bracelet. How it went from two guys feuding over Punk coming back and Drew being like, we don't want you. And then McIntyre losing the title at Mania. And then Punk cost him at Castle. And then it went from these a real wrestling rich storyline, or wrestling reasons, I want to say, to got your bracelet. And it's that's kind of what, at least what I've seen online, has taken people out of it.
Really?
Yeah. And I for me personally,
I do think that it wasn't bad. It just lasted too long.
It went on, and now this week they destroyed the bracelet on Raw. So it's the bracelet's finally done. And I know they're barreling towards the end of this storyline at Bad Blood with potentially, Hell in the Cell match. But I think that's the one thing that was kind of missing, that kind of puts this story, the Punk Drew McIntyre story, just a peg or two below what Hangman and Swerve have done, just based on this week, because they've taken it to this extreme level. It has to end this Saturday. It has to end in a lights out steel cage match, because that's what they're doing. The main event. Swerve's not even champion anymore. It's going to be the main event because it's that much of a.
Wait, who's the champion?
Bryan Danielson.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's got a match too, but this is this is a year-long rivalry that has to be blown off, and it's just been done masterfully, much in the same way as Toni Storm and Mariah May. And I'll even say, the last few weeks before All In, it kind of fizzled a little, because they just had the constant run and attack. They got to that point where Mariah turned, and I feel like they didn't know what to do with those last few weeks for the pay-per-view. But that's a minor criticism for Punk and Drew. I feel like at some point, and nobody's house needed to be burned down, but I think we needed either his dog or his wife involved, because that's what the bracelet represented, and that's great. But who gives a shit about a bracelet, honestly? It's just kind of it took me out of it a little bit. I just love both those guys and love the story they were trying to tell, but execution-wise, I don't know. You felt
I didn't feel it killed anything for me. I think it was. I really don't think it did. I mean, I didn't hate the bracelet.
It's just kind of silly, because it's my man, you could just make another one. I think
they also needed a reason for, because it seemed like the hate was one side. Drew was having CM Punk live in his head rent free, and that was the whole thing, right? It was driving him crazy. So something needed to change for Punk to also hate him as much and go after and care enough.
True.
So the bracelet was that. I now have your bracelet, because kicking the shit out of Punk all the time just apparently didn't work.
Yeah.
And
he did it again on Monday.
Yeah. So, but taking the bracelet apparently was a really big deal. I don't know. I mean, but what else is he gonna? He's not gonna I don't know. Why is he gonna involve his? Because he doesn't have kids.
The wife and the dog. He treats his dog's been dog's on a T-shirt now in WWE. Like his dog is his thing. Like everybody knows.
If they had done that, I would have called that cheesy. I'm tired of seeing families.
I mean, we're not going to do the whole Big Boss Man Al Snow chop up, feed you your dog that scenario. Did you know that happened? You probably didn't.
No.
And his wife AJ Lee doesn't want to be back on TV.
Yeah, and like we've already done this bit with like didn't LA Knight and AJ Styles also like had like someone went to someone's house?
Yeah, LA Knight went to Logan Paul's house. People go to like that. It happens. Samoa Joe went to AJ Styles' house. Like they've done the go to house thing. I get it. I'm not saying they had to do that. I'm just saying you got to kind of think creatively outside the box. How do we take this feud to the next level? How do we heighten it to that final step before the Hell in the Cell match to blow it off in the ring? That's it. Like I'm not saying it's been bad. I'm just saying like so much criticism.
Listen, if you want to say this was better than what is culminating with Drew and Punk, then yes, I think the Hangman situation, burning down the house.
Drop the balloons and the confetti. She just said AEW is better than WWE.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I think.
But you're honestly admitting, okay, if you're going to compare the two, you think this one.
I think as far as how it was executed with this last
crossing the finish line, let's say.
Yeah, and like or like getting to like the crescendo of the situation or whatever. Like I think that was better. But like, I don't think there's a house to burn down. I don't know what else I don't know what else Drew and Punk could have done. That's the thing. Right. I don't know. Like, was the bracelet a great idea? I don't know. I can see why people thought it was cheesy and stupid because it's just a stupid bracelet. You could probably make another one at Michael's. But I don't know what else they could have done.
I think Drew should have gotten Larry the dog tattooed like on his chest or something. No? Or AJ get 8. Nah, I don't know. Yeah. All right. Well. Like I said, I wanted to start positive, and I didn't think you were going to go that positive. So I thought you were going to be like, that was stupid.
That's what I said. I said I have nothing negative to say.
He sat in a recliner drinking while the house burned behind him. That would be super hot. He would totally, wouldn't be comfortable. I don't know.
I love fire, though.
Whoa, okay. Good to know.
like, oh, he burned down the house. Oh, fire.
All right, then.
My dream is to own a fireplace. Or have a house with a fireplace. But that would probably also bring up your homeowner's insurance, by the way. They ask you that.
This is a homeowner's insurance advice podcast now.
Fuck homeowner's insurance.
Oh, that's a whole nother story. If we're going to do the wrestling reality relationships, it's not really a relationship, it's a real life thing. Homeowner's insurance. Don't grow up, kids. Oh.
Don't buy a house. I don't understand. Like people tell you, buying a house, buying property, getting real estate. No. Rent and be done with it.
Rent forever. All right, so... let's go a little negative now. Not too negative. Just kind of, it's a head scratcher for me. Thank you for showing people what head scratching looks like. I married her, folks, because I love her.
Did you?
No Ricochet on Dynamite this week.
Ooh, right.
No match. And they've already announced a ton of stuff for Collision. Nothing for Rampage, because that's going to be live Friday night, going up against SmackDown. I know, because All Out is on... Saturday. So, no Ricochet. Only a brief mention of him in the whole Ospreay-Pac feud thing because of what happened last week after his first match. What are we doing? Like, I said, if you thought your booking was bad in WWE, if you didn't like the creative direction of your character in WWE, congratulations, Ricochet. You just got forgotten in your second week.
And I've been tuning in for Ricochet.
Like, you wanted to see it. You weren't thrilled with this first match. We talked about it. I didn't think it was the best match either. But
it was, first of all, when you mentioned it, because I think you mentioned it here, and I, rolled my eyes at Kyle Fletcher, and you're like, oh, he's not that bad. I'm like, okay, fine.
He's really good in the ring.
Okay, well, he couldn't, stay. I mean, I think there's just a certain level and certain ease in which you watch Ricochet matches. Like, he just makes it look effortless. And it looked like there was a lot of effort required with Fletcher. Like, it looked like they just weren't in sync, communication issues. I'm used to smooth Ricochet matches where he does all this nonsense and then all of a sudden there's no nonsense. It's slow as fuck. I felt like it was
you're used to a more WWE style of match for him, and I think he's used to that style of match for him. So to come to AEW, where depending on who you're in the ring with, you really have to have a mesh of styles to have a really great match. And I don't think they had a good mesh of styles because last night Fletcher took on Okada, which again, another head scratcher. This guy just lost to Ricochet last week, and he's getting a title match. Like, well, he beat Ishii on Collision. I don't care about that. Collision to me is kind of like its own world. I know it's not, but let's be real about how it's booked. He lost to Ricochet, and he's getting a title shot. It's like, what sense does that make? And it's like, well, it's wrestling. No. You have to keep a certain level of common sense, especially when it comes to titles. Like, that's supposed to be, like, you're getting a title shot. You're, moving up the card somehow. And I know there's a lot of titles in AEW. I don't need to hear that old story. But it was, and they had a good match. Again, Okada and Fletcher had a good match. But it's just like, I don't get how the guy who lost is getting a title shot. And the guy who won, who's the big new signing that you kind of, ripped away from WWE with promises of, I don't know, past glory and great matches with Ospreay, wasn't on the card. And here's my biggest problem with it. One of the things on the card last night, Jamie Hayter in a squash match. Who cares about Jamie Hayter in a squash match when you have Ricochet? I'm sorry. I know she's a former world champion. I know she's been gone for a year, but she also, I believe, had a match last week. Like, what is the point? Nobody's tuning in to see Jamie Hayter. Nobody's tuning in to see her kissing her bicep, doing her dumb shit. I'm sorry. She is not a star in any way, shape, or form comparative to Ricochet.
I think they fumbled.
You can't call it a fumble yet because it's week 2, but if
Hold on, because he debuted at All In.
Yeah.
And he came out and he lost. And he didn't lose.
He wasn't pinned. He was in a match that only one guy can win. It's a multi-man match.
If you didn't win, you a loser.
Great. Yeah, he didn't win and get the title shot. And Christian Cage also has not been on the show since he won that and had his title shot.
And then I see him again because I'm like, okay, I'm ready to see some Ricochet. I want to see some real one-on-one Ricochet nonsense. And then I see a dud of a match. I'm sorry. It was a dud of a match. It wasn't great. It wasn't.
It's not going to be on his highlight reel.
No. And then there's no more Ricochet. And I'm over here, first of all, and also, if you want to be well, we got to get him on, he has to wrestle, he has to, wrestle somebody. He can't just go out and just start wrestling, what's the guy?
What?
Ospreay?
Yeah.
He can't just go out and start wrestling Ospreay. Great. But you kept Mercedes Moné on the fucking bench for 5 months, I don't remember how long, before you finally put her in the ring. But Ricochet had to, go out there and get, scrub matches before he, gets a good one. No, come on now. At least keep him on the bench or, debut him later. What does it matter? You have 300 people you're paying them to put on TV. Just don't put them on TV for a minute. I just feel
they didn't put them on TV for a minute.
I feel it's just disappointing because I've been waiting for them to get somebody to captivate me and to get me to watch and to be oh, I'm looking forward to Ricochet because I was like that with him on WWE, and now you're giving me fart. Give me a fart.
And the only reasoning in my head, because I try to think why would they do this, is well, they got the pay-per-view this weekend, they need to fill the show up with things that are building to that, and I'm but you've got 2 hours here and you got 3 hours Friday night,
or just don't you don't utilize him. Then don't focus on him. Don't be in a rush to debut him. We all knew he was
too late though, but cat's out of the bag. I know you're saying that, and that makes sense. That's why I said on the show a few weeks ago, that's why I said it's a
fumble. You fumbled because you were too quick to try and get him out there. The word got out. Whatever the case may be, you were oh, he's got a debut, and now we don't know where to put him. There's too much going on for your 2 back-to-back PLEs, and now nobody fits in nowhere. It's just so stupid. It's just so disappointing. He deserves better, and
like I said, he should not have signed his name to that dotted line unless they had, I want to say, 3 to 6 months of potential ideas for him. Oh, this is where we're going to slot you in. We got Ospreay wrapping up with MJF. Then he's going to move to Pac. You two are going to kind of have some interaction. They should have really mapped it out. But to not have him on and not even mention him, that's the thing. If you didn't have time to give him a match, I get it. How hard is it to put together a 60-second package of him? They got to have New Japan footage. They got to have something, just something to say people oh man, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm going to go okay, we didn't have time for a match this week, but we had time for a fucking Jamie Hayter squash match. Ugh. And we'll see you next week, Ricochet. Next week on Dynamite, Ricochet versus somebody. Keep him in people's minds. You're trying to bring in this audience of people that, you want to watch your product. He's a guy you signed. I'm sure you're paying him a good amount of money, and you leave him on the bench on a go-home show. It just,
and even
it's baffling. Baffling.
I get it that maybe he felt he was underutilized or WWE wasn't doing right by him, but at the very least, you were having great moments in matches that people were rewatching, right? We talk about the moment with the car with the Bronze. I don't.
That's it with Braun Breaker, yeah.
But even though Bronson Reed, was it the one that?
Yep.
He's still kind of someone that still needs to be kind of, what do you guys call it?
Pushed.
right? Because he was mid card. He was somebody I like sometimes just showed up on my TV, but now he's getting this mad push. He has this big moment, and at the very least, he has that moment. Like people are gonna talk about it. People are gonna be like, remember when he like broke the windows of a car? Like I would think about like Ricochet. Remember when he did that shit off the rope? Remember when he did that? He's not doing that now. It's not even anything he's talking. Like,
well, look for that. I'll stop you there just because for that, that's yeah. Should he have had a bigger moment if you're debuting him in front of 50,000 people? Yeah. It's only a week into his run, so I mean, yeah.
No, but he needs but that's the thing. You keep saying it's only a week, but if you left WWE with the promise of something better, it has to be better out the gate. Yeah. You can't sit around and wait for them to make it better.
And if I was him too,
otherwise, why wouldn't you just sit and wait at the other place where your wife works?
Wait, fiance, but yeah. But another thing too is they set him up in that moment as a double-edged sword. It's like, okay, we're gonna kill you, and you got killed going out the door, going to the other place, or we killed you. You can come back and have more sympathy probably than you've ever had before as a babyface to come and take the belt from Braun Breaker. Like they set up that rivalry, and then it was his choice. You're going to come back and tell this story. You're going to go there and I feel like he just went there. Like I feel like he signed a contract there just to go wrestle Will Ospreay again.
Yeah, that's what I think it was. I think Will Ospreay put it out there like, oh, I'd love to wrestle him again, and like you're going there just to wrestle one person.
Unless he wants the freedom to go to Mexico and Japan and do indies again. If that was part of it too, but it's just like, yeah.
I just don't think it's worth it.
I'm not in his head. We're not in his head. We don't know why, but looking at it from the outside in, that's what it seems like. That's the first person to have you interact with.
And I think he's being too loud on like social media now. Like I've read there, like he's been.
Yeah, he's going after the people who criticize him, the trolls.
Yeah,
I don't know
and
why.
it's like
a little thin-skinned.
Like even like someone said like, oh, I wish you well, but I'm not tuning in. It's like, oh, you like me enough, but you can't change the channel, and everybody's like, yeah, I can like for example, I like the running back on the New York Giants, but if he leaves the team, good luck to you. But I'm not turning on and watching the Vikings, like
Eagles
or whatever other team. Yeah.
You talking about Saquon?
No, I just meant.
Oh, okay. I thought about Saquon.
I was just talking about. But I'm just saying, like, and that's a good analogy. Like, I mean, I like you enough, but I like you on my team.
Right, and I mean, there's people like me who watch everything and enjoy everything and critique things and like things, whatever. There's somebody like you who is, I feel like, the more like I want to say normal wrestling fan who's like, I only like this one. I'm not going to watch both. Like you're not going to fill your time with 8 to 10 hours of wrestling a week.
I also have a life. Like I have things to do.
That's what I'm saying. Even wrestling fans have lives. I watch it because I love it. I've been watching it for 30 plus years. And I like all of it. But you like, look, I'm going to dedicate this amount of time to professional wrestling. And if you're not going to be there on Monday nights or Friday nights, I'm sorry. Like, best of luck to you. I'll catch you on YouTube, like, or a clip on social media.
And that's the thing. Like, if I want to catch Ricochet on YouTube, I'm not watching no highlights right now.
Right.
There's no big moment from your debut. But you're not going to debut to a whimper. Like, that's so lame.
I know.
Like, oh, I came in with, like a little, like, breeze coming. Like, no, you want to be like a big gust of wind. So stupid.
All right. Got a lot of energy out in that segment.
I feel very strongly about Ricochet. I like him, and I want to see him win.
I like it.
I want to see you winning, Ricochet.
I like it. So we put up a clip on Monday.
Of what?
Of the show.
Yeah.
This show right here that we're doing.
Uh-huh.
And on TikTok, it's done some business. It's done a little business the last couple of days.
Yeah.
A little fantasy booking I did last week talking about Uncle Howdy, my favorite supernatural being on my we're not gonna get into Uncle Howdy this week because that looks like that feud's almost over. They're gonna blow it off in a street fight this Monday, hopefully. But I want to do a little more fantasy booking because it is something people do, and I've kind of steered away from it unless I had like a good idea or unless it made sense. Like I'm not gonna be like, I wish Stone Cold would come back and fight CM Punk, and like, no, I'm not gonna do bullshit like that. But somebody who I've been very impressed with and has grown on me on NXT is Femi, the North American champion.
Obi-Wan, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's not Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
He's not a Jedi. He's not Ewan McGregor. He's not Sir Alec Guinness.
Obi-Wan.
He's a large man who walks out to the ring to the beat of his music, which for some reason pops me. I don't know. He's like, doom, 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 doom. Like, I don't know why that pops me, but it does. He's great on the mic. This feud with Tony D'Angelo has been good. He's really like, he knows how to command a promo and an exchange and not sound like too dominant, even though he's a big dude. Like he's a big, and everybody's just saying like he's main roster ready probably now. And I said this week on Threads, I was like, well, who's going to beat him in NXT? Can you think of anybody in NXT? I mean, I know you watch NXT more sparingly, but is there anybody in NXT you think, like, logically could take that belt off him and beat him? You can just make up a name at this point.
Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry? You think Joe Hendry?
Because he is fueled by belief.
You believe that he just had an NXT title match that he didn't come out on top of. You think he's going to go and go for the North American title and take on Oba?
I don't know. I know Trick.
Trick's locked in the NXT title.
I don't know. Anybody else?
Exactly. Well, a couple people said TNA stars. They're like, why don't they bring somebody from TNA? I was like, well, obviously Moose, the former TNA world champion, is an obvious choice. Maybe Big Con, maybe PCO. They got some bigger guys. Madman Fulton, I believe, is over there. But I'll tell you who I want to see come in with NXT moving to the CW and bringing in CM Punk, bringing in Randy Orton. Granted, those are going to kind of be one-off appearances to kind of pop the rating for the first 2 weeks.
Right.
You know who I'd like to come in and see feud with Oba Femi and have a match with Oba Femi on an NXT PLE?
Cody Rhodes.
Brock Lesnar.
I thought he was persona non grata.
He's not being sued for it. He's mentioned in the whole lawsuit. Look, I get that. I want to kind of just say the lawsuit doesn't exist.
So in this hypothetical world where you're assuming that there ain't no business.
Triple H said Brock does what he wants. And when Brock wants to come back, they'll do business. Okay. So he's not unmentionable. He's not, he's not Vince.
Okay. This is still hypothetical, so it doesn't matter.
The rules don't apply. Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi. Not only would that pop the ratings on CW for like at least a month.
Right.
But then to have Brock headline an NXT PLE, I think would be unprecedented. And people were like, no, but and have him, the guy who ended the Undertaker's streak, Brock Lesnar, the former UFC champion, to have him come in and match power for power with Oba Femi. Yeah. Do you see that? Do you see that as a possibility?
Hold on, I thought this was hypothetical.
Yeah, do you see it possibly being reality? The ruler of NXT, as Oba Femi likes to say, versus the conqueror, the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Granted, he doesn't have Paul Heyman with him, but I think he could handle a back and forth with Oba Femi. I think that would be Brock wouldn't even he could appear once on TV and then just a bunch of prepackaged stuff and build to it. Do you think they would bring in Brock Lesnar in NXT to face Oba Femi?
And the whole storyline would just be big versus big.
The ruler versus the conqueror.
Yeah, that would just be it. Like
the one thing Brock hasn't done in his career. He's beaten the Undertaker. He's won championships everywhere he's been. You know what? He should come in and be like, I'm gonna put NXT on the map. NXT's here on the CW.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I'm gonna show everybody like the NXT. It's not the minor leagues. It's not the third brand. It is on the same level as people talk about the main roster. It is the equal of Raw and SmackDown.
I'm seeing it. Now I'm seeing the vision.
Because they've been bringing down kind of mid-card guys, other people, shuffling people in and out of NXT to kind of bring that name value. Who has bigger name value right now that hasn't done anything in the last year that would pop a rating, pop a buy rate, merchandise, everything
I think Stone Cold.
He's not active. I don't think there's anything truly interesting for Brock right now on the main roster. I'm sure they could create something. That's what they do. But Oba Femi, Brock Lesnar, at NXT something or other, whatever PLA, maybe not Halloween Havoc, but I think that's money. That's a money angle.
Would it be a surprise entrance? Would it be like, oh, we got someone for you, Obi-Wan, and then
I think he would come out and cut a promo and say I've beaten everybody here. My next step is I'm going after the NXT title, or my next step is I'm going to the main roster.
Okay. So it wouldn't be like a surprise, you got no one that can face me, open challenge nonsense, and then out comes Brock Lesnar.
I don't know if I would do an open challenge, but I would say is there anybody left in NXT or TNA or anywhere in wrestling that can challenge me for this North American title? Lights go out. Brock's music hits. And they should do it at an arena.
No, people would shit their pants.
They should do it at an arena because these first two CW shows are going to be at arenas. So I wouldn't do it at the Performance Center. I would make sure there's 10,000 people. Have him have a match of Halloween Havoc, cut a promo after the match about there's no one left, and then have Brock come out and pop 10, 12,000 people.
That's good. That's a good idea. I feel it now. I feel it.
In your bones?
Mm-hmm. I would poop my pants.
You would poop your pants? Mm-hmm. If Brock Lesnar came out? That's not the reaction I was going for.
Involuntarily, though. I'm not forcing the poop.
You would lose control of your bowels.
Yeah, from excitement.
seeing Brock Lesnar. I didn't know you're that big of a Brock Lesnar fan, or it's just the idea itself. You like the epicness.
Well, like I think it's like I told you it was the same thing with Roman. Like absence makes the heart grow fonder. Like he wasn't someone I was thinking about, but I haven't seen him in a minute, so I'm like, ooh, here you is.
I can't remember last time we saw. Was it against Cody? I think it might have been against Cody, or was it the Omos WrestleMania match? I forget. Off the top of my head, I forget. Forgive me. But yeah, it's been a minute. And I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be him like kind of elevating Oba before he inevitably goes up to the main roster.
And then it would squash all the whispers about whether or not he can come back and blah 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 all this stuff. So
he didn't do anything wrong. He was like named in this woman's complaint. He didn't. I don't think he did anything.
I don't know. That's not what I heard.
That what you heard in the dirt sheets?
I read the lawsuit.
You read the whole lawsuit? You're a paralegal now? Oh, you did work for a law firm.
I did.
You did.
I've read a lot of
got some experience
decisions.
Oh, do we want to do All Out?
No.
Can I do my All Out predictions? Yeah, I'll just run through it quick and then we'll wrap up.
Sit here and just think something.
Well, you can. So Swerve and Hangman main event, lights out steel cage match. Who do you got?
Hangman.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Hangman's got to win.
Set fire to cage.
I think it's got to be. I don't know if it's over. I don't know if this feud ever ends. But see, logically, I think Swerve wins because to have him lose the title. Logically, I think Swerve wins. My heart, I want Hangman to win because I'm just a longtime Hangman fan.
Me too.
I love Hangman. Danielson and Perry for the championship. Yeah, Jack Perry's not winning that thing. Get out of here. Your favorites? Two of your favorites? Willow and Statlander for the CMLL title in a street fight?
I hate them both so much. If there's a way they could both lose, it'd be great.
I think Statlander wins. I think they're gonna. I think that helps get the CMLL title. I don't know why it's there. It's kind of silly, but
she was doing something weird the other day on TV. She's so weird.
Who?
Willow.
Okay, that checks out. There's a Continental title 4-way with Okada and 3 other people, which it's gonna happen on Collision. We're gonna find out the other 3. I don't think Okada comes out of that with the belt. I think they're gonna have him drop it there. But
I'm tired of Okada.
Ospreay and Pac.
I don't know.
It's title match, international title match.
Why does Pac look like he never showers?
Or does he shower too much?
Too much, yeah. Too much grease. Probably Ospreay. I feel like they don't like to let him lose.
Ospreay wins that. Monet and Sheeta. Mercedes, Monet and Sheeta. Camille Bard from ringside.
Oh, my God.
Monet.
Probably.
Sheeta's not winning that. MJF and Daniel Garcia. You think Garcia's winning that match?
I don't know. I'm guessing on all these. I have no interest.
Old overpaid Daniel Garcia, if he actually did resign. I think MJF's winning this one.
Okay, good for you.
I think this feud's going to continue. I think MJF's going to start off with a win. And then Young Bucks versus Claudio and Yuta for the tag titles. Young Bucks. Whoop, whoop.
They're twins, right?
They're not twins.
They are twins.
All right. Let's wrap it up. The only other thing I really want to talk about was Pete Dunne. But
not Dancing with the Stars?
What do you want to talk about Dancing with the Stars? I bet Carl Winslow is going to be on Dancing with the Stars.
First of all, Reginald Val Johnson. Okay.
Carl Winslow.
And Phaedra Parks is on it. That's reality.
And what is she from?
We're going to have a I have to school you on Atlanta. We're going to start watching Atlanta from the beginning because Phaedra is freaking phenomenal. She is a housewife to be reckoned with. She was great. Nobody reads like Phaedra.
If we do that, you're going to have to sit down and start watching Dynamite all the way through each week. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for watching. Let us know what do you think is going to happen at All Out. And what do you think about my Oba Femi Brock Lesnar? Is there any possibility that Lesnar comes back and they put him against Oba
And who
Femi
you got
NXT?
Winning Dancing with the Stars?
It hasn't even started yet.
But the cast is out there. Why can't I ask questions too? It's us.
Dancing with the Stars. Yeah, let me know. And it's Carl Winslow. I don't even know if he can dance. I basically eliminated first.
It's going to be one of the Olympians. They always win.
Make sure you subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and Linktree for everything. Follow us on TikTok. The clips seem to do well there. People like them. Even though they're on YouTube and Instagram also. But follow us on TikTok. All right? You good?
I'm good.
All right. Say goodbye, Toni.
Goodbye, Toni. Love, love, love.